Hello and welcome to our final live video for launch day of Any Good Thing. I hope that you guys have had a great day. I know I have. I'm a little tired, probably look a little tired, but I hope that you guys have had a wonderful day so far. I hope you've enjoyed some of the things that I've shared, and I'll have plenty more to come in the days to come after this, I'm sure. I can't really talk anymore at this point. I think it's just been that long of a day. But tonight what we're going to do is I'm going to have just open it up for any questions that you guys have about Any Good Thing, about my writing, about any of the events that I have coming up, or just anything that comes to mind. And I know that sometimes we'll have people that join in a little bit later after we get started. So I jotted down a few things that I could chat about while we're waiting. And if you are watching this later, so if it's not live anymore, feel free to go ahead and put your questions in the comments, and I would love to answer them whenever I see those. So first of all, I have to say that I have to give some thanks out to my daughter for my makeup today. She was very excited to get to do my makeup for all of these videos. So she did a pretty good job, way better than I could do, that's for sure. And then a couple of other things, you know, what have I been doing all day? I haven't just been sitting in front of the computer. We did school as usual. I homeschool my kids, so we had that. I still had to grade papers. Apparently, just because you publish a book doesn't mean that you don't still have to do laundry and things like that, which no, I didn't do laundry today and I needed to. But anyway, those are some of the things. It was also Taco Tuesday, so of course we did tacos, things like that, just normal everyday things. I've had some incredible feedback already from some of you guys, and some of the really interesting things that I wasn't expecting. I've already had a lot of requests for signed copies of the book that can be mailed out, and I don't have a plan in place for that yet, but I will be working on that. We'll see what we can do. And another thing is I had a request for a translation into Italian. So that's something in the distant future as well. It's translations for my books, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go for Italian first, simply because it's been requested. So I'll keep you posted on that. That might be in the 10-year plan, we'll see. So let's see, anything else? Oh yes, that's what I was going to tell you guys. So I have had questions from people, really even before today. I've had a lot of parents asking if their teenagers can read my book. So I thought I would just tell you guys a little bit about my book. It is an adult fiction book, and there is some language in it. Now this is something that, you know, I thought through a lot through the writing process and the revision process. I talked with my husband about it a good bit, and we kind of, you know, really talked about what is okay and what's not. And there are certain words that I'll never have in my books. This book happens to have a few, and I actually have a list. So if you are considering your teenager getting to read this book, I have a list that I will be happy to send you. In fact, I'm planning on putting it up on the book page at some point. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So there's that. And, you know, just a lot of, I guess what you would say is just hard content, as far as, you know, it deals with war, it deals with PTSD, it deals with teenage alcoholism, it deals with depression and suicide, and a lot of tragedies that happen. So, you know, there are some hard topics within the body of the book. So that's something that I think any reader needs to be aware of. You know, if these are some triggers for you, this may not be the best book for you, and I totally understand that. But as far as, you know, for teenagers, I've actually been told by a few beta readers that they feel like it would be a good book for older teenagers to kind of read along with their parents, just because Jack goes through a lot of things in his teenage years that I know teenagers are faced with and they're hit with. And so the things that are the content that is in there, if you have any questions, you can ask me and I'll be happy to let you know more details on what that is. But that is a question that I've had a good bit, so I figured I would address that. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them as we go along. And the other thing that I was going to tell you guys while I'm waiting is about book club kits. So I mentioned this earlier, just briefly, and that is that I am planning on putting up some book club kits that will be available for any book clubs who would like to read any good thing. So if you have a book club and you are interested, just drop me a line, let me know, and I'll be happy to send those to you as soon as I have them together. I will also have an opportunity for book clubs who read my book. I would be happy to sit down. I'll be happy to meet with you and answer your questions and do a conversation with you. If you live nearby, then hopefully I can do it in person. But if not, wherever you happen to be in the world, I'd be happy to do a Skype chat with you. I think that that could be a lot of fun. So those are some of the things that I have planned. So if you have a book club and you're interested, just let me know. And I will have more information, and that'll be on the book page as well. Probably what I'm planning on doing is having a little button that you can kind of click and ask for more information, ask for a kit, and it'll just be something that I'll send by email. So if you guys have any suggestions, if you have a book club or if you have received book club kits from authors, let me know what kinds of things were in it that you really enjoyed and that you got the most use out of. I'm planning on having some discussion guides. I'm also planning on having some things that will be specific for after you've read the book, because my book does have a lot of twists and turns, which makes it kind of challenging when I'm thinking about choosing readings from the book and things like that. It's hard to find passages that don't give something away. But what I would like to do is have a couple of printouts for book clubs to look at after they've read the book, because there's some really cool things, kind of behind the scenes kinds of things that I would love to share, but I can't do that if you haven't read the book. So that's kind of a fun thing. So if you guys have any other suggestions for that, let me know. I look forward to hearing about them. So just like I said before, if you guys have any questions and you're watching this later, it is not too late. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments, and I would love to answer them. I'll do the best that I can on that. And one other thing, I'm going to do 2 more posts tonight before the end of the night, and they're just going to be little posts, and one is kind of a wrap-up of all of the events that I have coming up. So these are the ones that are for sure on the calendar, and I already know about at least 2 others that I am not sure, I don't have all the details. So just keep checking back and I'll let you guys know what those are for sure. But I do have 2 events in Slidell. The first one's this Sunday. It's a chicken and dumpling cook-off, which should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that one. And then I have another one on October 5th here in Slidell at Mary Lou's Book Sack. And then I have another event at Blue Cypress Books in New Orleans, and that is on October 3rd. That's a Thursday evening. And then the 4th one that I'm going to be posting about is in Hammond, Louisiana. So if you're in Hammond or in that area, that'll be at the Books A Million there. And I'm looking forward to that as well. That's October 26th. But I'm going to post a roundup. So all 4 of those will be in one post together so you can kind of see what's coming. So I do have a question here that I'm going to answer. Was there a character that you didn't enjoy writing, or a character that you just didn't like? Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think. Any that I didn't like? So there were some, I don't know that there were any that okay, well, there is a character that I did not like, and he's one that no one will like, trust me. You will not like this character, Hiram Cutter. He is one of my bad guys, and yeah, he was easy to not like. So there's that. So that's kind of predictable that I wouldn't like him. But as far as characters that I didn't enjoy writing, some of them were very difficult. And I actually mentioned a couple of these in my earlier live when I was telling you about a few of the characters. I was giving you some details about those. And I told you that there were a couple of characters that were really hard to write. It wasn't that I didn't like them necessarily, it's that I couldn't picture them. It took me a little while to figure them out. And I think the best example, and I did say this earlier, so if you heard it then, I'm sorry you're getting a repeat, but I just, to me, it's one of the funniest stories. So I have a character named Rachel, and when I first wrote Rachel, I wrote her with blonde hair, and I had the hardest time. I couldn't hear her voice. I couldn't figure out what was her story. I couldn't figure out what her purpose was even in the story, although I knew that she was important, but I couldn't figure out what her purpose was really. And I don't know, it was a ways into the book and I realized she needed to be a redhead. And so once I figured that out, that actually just made everything else fall into place. And that sounds like the craziest thing ever. You change a hair color and all of a sudden you can figure out this character, but that's kind of how that went. So I think that it's not that I didn't enjoy writing her, but it was very frustrating in the beginning because I couldn't figure out how to write her. And I had a couple of other characters like that. So yeah, but I kind of fell in love with all of my characters and got to know and love them in the end, except for the one that we're all supposed to hate. So, there is that one. So that was a great question. Thank you. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And I just want to say thank you so much again for everyone who has participated today. If you only liked one post today, hey, that was amazing. And thank you so much. If you have any questions at all about any good thing or any of my books that will be coming out in the future, please just drop me a line, let me know. And I look forward to talking to you more about them. And thank you again. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.